The News 4 Jax. I don't think my mic's on.
I hear you.
You do?
You're
you
good.
hear me?
Yeah.
Okay. The News 4 Jax Trust Index team is fact-checking a statement made during last night's debate between Vice President Mike Pence and Senator Kamala Harris.
The vice president said, quote, "There are no more hurricanes today than there were 100 years ago," in response to a question about climate change. Well, News 4 Jax anchor Tarek Miner is joining us now with the Trust Index rating. And Tarek, what can you tell us?
Well, the Trust Index team is rating Pence's statement that there are no more hurricanes today than there were 100 years ago as be careful, because Pence's claim on its face is accurate, but the statement needs context.
And with regard to hurricanes, the National Oceanic Administration tells us that actually as difficult as they are,
Thank you, Vice President.
there are no more hurricanes today than there were 100 years ago.
It's an answer the vice president gave when asked if he agrees with the scientific consensus of climate change, calling into question the 100-year history of hurricanes across the world. What needs to be put into context is the increasing intensity of the hurricanes. According to the National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration, climate change is impacting the storm's intensity.
And so if you're looking at hurricanes over 100 years, you have to apply the context that we didn't have satellites before 1966. So unless a hurricane ran into land or ran into a ship and the ship survived to tell about it, we didn't actually know that the hurricanes were out there.
It's worth noting that after adjusting estimates to account for hurricanes that stayed at sea or were missed, NOAA's analysis found that we haven't seen a significant increase in the number of hurricanes since the late 1800s. Meteorologist Rebecca Berry points out that weather technology has increased exponentially over the past 5 years, giving meteorologists more information about a hurricane's intensity and whether or not the storms are getting stronger or weaker. The National Climate Assessment itself is even more direct, saying the intensity, frequency, and duration of North Atlantic hurricanes, as well as the frequency of the strongest hurricanes, have all increased since the early 1980s. Hurricane intensity and rainfall are projected to increase as the climate continues to warm.
Again, the Trust Index giving Mike Pence's claim the rating of be careful. It's also very important to note that 2020 is already a record year. We've seen 23 named storms, including Hurricane Delta, which is now turning towards the Gulf Coast and is intensifying again as we speak in warm ocean waters.